Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So we're gonna go. First of all, thank you guys for so graciously accepting the invitation to be a part of this conversation about marriage, family, and relationships. It's definitely something that is needed and that is a relevant topic. I'm going to go ahead and go around the screen or the room, if you will, and allow each one of you ladies to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself so that people can know who you are. Anybody?
Well, I am Dee Dee Heckard, and I have been married for 20 years. We made 20 years this year. We are a blended family of 5, and I have 4 boys and 1 girl aging from 26 to 16. And we've been in church all of that time, and have experienced a lot in marriage that nobody told us, a lot in family that nobody told us, a lot in relationships that nobody warned us about, that we had to learn and navigate through the hard way. And I'm grateful for that, and pray that I can just give you a little bit of what I've gotten over the last now 43 years of living and 20 years of marriage.
A whole lot.
Well, good morning. My name is Letitia Hudson, and I am the beautiful wife, the second wife, the last wife of Mr. Todd Hudson. And I said the last wife. I am the last wife. Okay. I have been married before. I was married before for about almost 17, 18 years. So this is my second time around. So just bringing some knowledge to you about the second time around. And it's the best time around. And so choosing the right mate is truly key in having a successful marriage, as well as having God to be the center and the core of your team. And we're just here coaching and trying to do the best we can to raise our beautiful children. We have a blended family as well. We are a blended of 7. We have some adult children, but in this household, we have 2 boys, 13, 15, and our daughter is 20.
Good.
Well, hello, I am Leslie Lowry. I am also the beautiful wife of Christopher Lowry. We have been married for 7 years now. We too are a family of 5. We have a son who is 4, a daughter who is 3, and another daughter who is 1. So we are raising littles. We're at the beginning of our journey with our children. But it's been really beautiful. It's overwhelming. It's beautiful. It's just, it's a lot to I guess to take in. And so we're just every day, just taking it day by day. I echo the same sentiments. This is my first and my last marriage. Look, we're gonna ride this thing on out together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just excited to talk with you ladies today. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Thank you, ladies, again. So for the sake of keeping with the uniformity, I have been married for almost 6 years now in this marriage. This is my second marriage. We too are a blended family. There are a million kids in our home. No, I'm just kidding. But so we have so it's 15, 14, 14, 11. And then we kind of lost our mind and started over. So there's 3, 2, and 5 months, 6 months.
That cute baby, that 6 months, cute baby.
Too much. So it's a circus in here, but yeah, it's so much. And even right now, so many things are going through my mind on what I need to do for all of them. But nevertheless, if you guys can go ahead and talk about your, if you will, your platforms. I know, Leslie, you have Without Ceasing. Dee Dee, you have the Ladies Lounge, and just recently, Tish, you started some stuff. I don't know if you're really ready to talk about, but I'll let you, tell us about that. So let's go ahead and just because well, fortunately and unfortunately, with some individuals, they want to know what history do you have, what background do you have that qualifies you to tell me anything about marriage. So for those people that need that, go ahead and give them that. It doesn't matter who goes first.
I guess since I started, right, I'll go. And it's funny that that you said that people need that qualification, and I am the anti-qualification queen. Like when people try to do that, you need a DDS, a MDS, a doctor, whatever behind your name. I have been married for 20 years. I still love him. He's still chasing me around the house. That's what qualifies me.
That's right.
So none of the platforms qualify me, because I've been doing the ladies lounge for a little bit. We just recently launched a church. None of that really qualifies you like on the job training does. And so, being a mom of 26 years and having a lot of challenges with my 5 beautiful babies that I would not trade for the world. That OJT qualifies you. Nothing else can qualify you like that.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, and I concur. On the job training, as well as pain, will qualify you.
Yes.
Purpose will qualify you. I don't have a specific platform, but I am a girl's girl. I am a friend, and I just try to create a safe circle for my sisters and people that I network with, to be that ear, to be that shoulder, and even be that girlfriend to be like, girl, get it together, like,
Yeah.
period. So that is definitely my platform. So I do have educational degrees, but I don't come with a specific platform to say, because it actually just depends on who wants to hear it. So
Right.
I guess I'm qualified for those who have lent an ear to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, girl.
Yeah.
That's good. So I kind of echo the same sentiments. I don't have the necessary, I guess, degrees that some would like to maybe discuss this platform. But really, in my opinion, the experience is really what makes you the expert, in marriage. There are actual, marriage therapists who aren't actually married. It takes actually being in marriage to really help other people navigate marriage. And I know I haven't been married that long, but honestly, 7 years in today's time, that's kind of a long time to be married, because
Yes.
not many people last that long. So really,
Yeah,
I
you going into your doctorate program in the
Hello.
natural. Honey,
I need an
listen.
honorary degree. But yeah, so my platform is my blog, Without Ceasing Woman, where I talk about marriage and motherhood and ministry. But really, it's just my own insight, what I have just come to understand over the period of time that I've been married, what I've read in the Word, what I've seen from other couples, good and bad. And so it's just an accumulation of my own experience.
That's good.
Yeah. So I'll say this. What qualified you, in my opinion, for this discussion was your level of consistency, your level of genuine love and regard for everything, all that is women. I've watched all of you on social media and a lot of you in real life. And I will say that when it comes down to, because for me, it doesn't have to be perfection. Life isn't perfect. So for me, the consistent example of what a woman should be, what a wife should be, I have found that in the 3 of you. So for me, you are qualified. There I could have asked anyone, to be a part of the discussion, but you 3 were individuals that I wanted to be a part. So we're gonna just say that, and we're gonna leave that at that.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
So when you think of marriage, what is the first thing that pops in your mind?
Woo, child.
This was a good one, yeah. This the first word that pops in your mind.
Honestly, for me, I will say joy, because it really has been a joy to be married to my husband. To just be honest, he does not give me any problems. Like, I don't have to worry about hearing this or that, or you know what I mean, like in the in the street or just, you know what I mean? He is just really a good man, and he really just does enjoy being married to me and vice versa. Like, we just really enjoy being together and raising our family. And so I'm really just thankful for the fact that I haven't had to go through some of the things that I know other women have gone and are going through. So
Yeah.
really, I'm really blessed, and I really do mean it when I say it's a joy, because it's a lot going on out there. And
Yeah.
so if you have somebody who, right, if you have somebody who you can really trust, and you don't have to worry about, you know, what is he out here doing? Who it, you know, don't don't take it for granted, because not
No.
everybody has that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else?
For
Married.
me, I would say laughter. You know, my husband and I, we laugh all the time. And I am a true nut. Everybody that knows that I am a nut. And
I was about
but
to say,
laughter is my medicine. It feeds me, it heals me. And so he lets me be me. He takes all of these compartments that is packed into this 5'2" body, and he just loves on me and he supports me. And I am too happy to have a man that is a man of valor. He has great integrity, and he is just my bestest friend. So I'm just grateful for that. I'm really grateful for having laughter to be something that we definitely share together.
That's good.
yeah.
I would say not to, we don't take ourselves too serious. We are as well nuts. Both of us are. We make each other crack up, and in every aspect, in having babies, bill paying, whatever it is, we make something a joke, and we make it funny and fun, because people don't know how to laugh, like you said. And you never see, everybody else sees your smile, social media sees your smile, but your spouse doesn't. And so we don't take ourselves too serious. He should be able to see me cute sometimes. He should be able to see me smiling and laughing, and I don't just reserve that for the public. You know what I mean? Because then it'd be like, who is that? I don't know her. Who that lady? Well, can I see her? So we don't take ourselves too serious. We have a good time.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. So so let's get into so I was telling some of the ladies earlier. I watched a YouTube video the other night, or last night specifically, and one of the topics was, is marriage necessary? Like, do you necessarily have to get married? Can I just live with this person and just procreate and do all that good stuff? Do I have to get married? What is your take on that?
I'll go first. You
Okay.
go first, Tisha.
No, go ahead.
It depends on what your core foundational beliefs are. That is going to vary depending on what your core foundation is. If you are saying you are a believer and the Word of God is your foundation, you should be comfortable just living with somebody and not marrying them. But if the Word of God is not your truth, we have, my truth, and I said this the other day. The truth is the Word of God, if you are a believer. And then I have to found my truth on the truth of the Word of God. If that is my truth, if I am a believer and the Word of God is the truth for me, then I can't just live with somebody. Not if that's the truth for me. But if you are not a believer, or if you're struggling with what the Word says, or I don't know if I believe that wholeheartedly, then you're going to take some time before you say marriage is necessary. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what your core beliefs are.
I believe it's also based on, like, what is your goal? What is your understanding? I mean, we don't enter into business decisions or contracts lightly, and marriage is truly a contract. It is a commitment to uphold your part of the deal. It is to bear fruit and to create, roots, and to leave your generations to come something to be able to look forward to. Being that I didn't have a whole lot of positive or marriages that were set before me. It's something that you have to build. So I would say in this day and time, it might not be something for them to look forward to because marriage is so easily to be entreated, but it's definitely not something that's upheld. And so people treat it very lightly. They really brush it off as it's something to do. I think more people are more dedicated to the wedding and the wedding planners and the venues than they are about truly what marriage is. So I can forego the wedding, but I really desire marriage because it's the partnership, it is the building, it's the support, and all of those things that I need. And that we also need, like I said, if you're dealing with a business contract or something of that nature, it's of importance. So it depends on the lens and the eyes of those who are watching and will determine that. So again, as Dee Dee said, it's definitely, your foundation of faith, but for those that are really, treading lightly on that, they might see marriage as something that is maybe or maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, look, echo the same exact sentiments, and it's interesting because for me, yes, marriage was like a no brainer. Like before I actually got married, before I even came to Christ, I knew that I wanted to be married. And I didn't necessarily see my own parents together. They separated, early on in my childhood, but I still knew that I wanted to be married. I didn't necessarily know what that looked like, especially before Christ, but I knew that it was just something that I needed to do. And so when I met my husband, he was kind of iffy. Well, that's a long story, but we were friends for a while. When we finally started dating, he was kind of iffy at first about getting married because of the relationships that he saw. And he had a lot of people in his life who were together for years. And then once they finally got married, it's like everything fell apart. So I can understand people's fear around not wanting to get married because of what you see, but your marriage is really what you make it. It's not going to be like your parents' marriage. It's not going to be like your grandparents' marriage. It's what you two decide that you're going to put into it. And so for me, yes, I feel like you should be married, but again, it does go back to your core beliefs. If that's not something that you were raised in or of the mindset of, then I could see where you would be fine just being in a common law relationship. But if you really are a Christian, a believer, then I would really suggest you really dive into what marriage is all about, God's way, and you'll begin to understand how important it is that marriage is such an intimate thing. Like there is no intimacy outside of marriage that you will experience, like you do within marriage, other than your relationship with God. I can't even, like there's a certain way that you feel for somebody when they're your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your fiance and things that you share with them, but there's a different level of intimacy. I feel such a protection and a peace about sharing things with my husband that I can't say that I would feel with sharing with a boyfriend. There were certain things that happened in my life or that I did that I was like, you know what, I'm not going to share this with anybody until I get married, because I feel like that will be the person who won't judge me or will make me feel like, you did that, but this is who you are now. You know what I mean? There's just a different level of care and concern that your spouse gives you that you, in my opinion, cannot get from someone who is not necessarily your spouse.
Absolutely.
I want to say that's in a healthy marriage too, Leslie, because what you are describing is a healthy marriage. Just over the years, friendships, my own family, most people don't experience a safety in being completely open and honest. And I said that to, several of my friends. I can say anything to David, like anything. And when I say anything, like think of the worst possible case scenario, and I can say that to him. And he is there with no judgment, with grace, with love. And I realized, and one of my friends told me, she said, I could never say that to my husband. It would be a catastrophe. Wow. And so I'm careful about because I never want it to appear that I'm bragging when I'm sharing stuff
Right.
with my friends about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
so when we're saying that it is an intimacy and a safe place, and that is in a healthy marriage, a lot of the times people are on their second, third, fourth, fifth, no judgment here from me, because they did not find safety in that first one
That's it.
or that second one. When you saw who I was for real, you did not cherish who I was. You looked at my flaws only. You did not remember that you married. I'm still a cute girl, though I have rollers in my head tonight. I can't go to bed like this and come up like this, you know. And people exploited men and women. So it's not just a one-sided thing. Exploited the faults. And that's why people are terrified of marriage, because they either seen really bad marriages or they themselves were in a really, really bad marriage. And I did not have a good example of that. My mom and dad were never married. My mom found out my dad was gay after she got pregnant with me. And that was devastating for her. And once I found that out, I was like, well, what in the world? Well, if your picker broke, my picker gonna be broke. What in the world? You know, so getting married and jumping into something like that was terrifying.
Yeah.
But when I met David, I knew, oh, I'm supposed to marry him. Like, it was not even, all of the stuff that I seen didn't even matter. It wasn't even you know, and I seen a lot of crazy stuff, like crazy. And I've been in church since day one. My mama went to labor with me at church. So being in church from day one, I seen stupid, crazy stuff in church from day one. And that should have made me say, no, I'm never getting married. I will just be here like a nun under the piano. And I'm just stay here and lay here. But when I met him, I felt safe with him. And I'm grateful for that. But most people won't get married. They won't, because of that, because of the trauma associated with it.
Yeah. I want to say, like, something that you guys are saying, like, most people marry because, you know, and they don't feel safe. I know in some cases people marry for safety, like I want someone to make me feel safe, and oftentimes you go into that thing broken and you'll get some horrible outcomes because of that. So let's talk about new marriages. So what should people know that have just gotten married, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I would love for them to know that they deserve love and kindness and reciprocity and grace and joy and support. Like, those are reasonable expectations. It is not for someone to think like, well, I don't want to burden someone with this. So when you are able to be just physically and mentally and emotionally connected, then you know, and you come, I would say, open about whatever wounds you have, whatever healing process you have, because a lot of times we feel like, and I believe I did in my first marriage, that we had to approach it with perfection. And that was the wrong mindset, because I didn't have perfection. I wasn't perfect. I was wounded, and I was seeking too much validation from another person. I placed too much responsibility in incapable hands. And so for the most part, we just have to be honest about where we are, and what's reasonable. And I believe that we are to be able to have those qualities and those characteristics in a healthy marriage, and that it's not asking too much, nor should you lower a standard of quality in order to appease and, again, walk down the aisle.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And I'm sorry, I did not hear the question. My internet froze for a minute.
Oh, so the question was, in new marriages, what should I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about what Tisha said. What was the question, y'all? That thing.
It was what to expect in a new marriage.
There you go. That's the question. Because my mind is going, I'm processing what she's saying. So in new marriages, what should one expect in your opinion? Can you hear me, Leslie?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'll let Dee Dee go. Or did she already?
Oh, no.
I haven't gone yet.
Okay,
go.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
To
Sorry.
let go of all that you thought you knew, all that somebody told you it would be. I am really, really big on having your own identity. God was intentional about giving each one of us our own fingerprint for a reason. He paints the sky different every day. Your marriage is going to have its own fingerprint. The two shall become one, and that one is going to be its own individual fingerprint. So I don't care what you have seen. I don't care if you've seen a really, really good marriage. You cannot model yourself solely after two other human beings that have two different fingerprints than you, because you are going to make your own stamp, your own thing. You are going to look totally different than your mom's good marriage, if you did come from a household that was healthy, your aunt's good marriage, your pastor, whoever mentored you, you are going to look different. And there is a lie that is floating around the world that you got to be whole before you get married, and or the better half, all of the things. You might come into that marriage and not know that you're broken until you expose yourself to another human being. You might think you have taken all the single classes, done all the work, did all the things that were necessary. You got all the Bible scriptures memorized, and you get in there and realize, I am a smoking hot mess. And that does not mean that you have to divorce, because I was a smoking hot mess. My husband was 19 when we got married. He was 19 years old, and he turned 20 a couple of days later. And I remember I was so insecure and terrified. And so for those that are like, I'm really insecure, you can still be married and have insecurities. You will have insecurities. You might not even know you have them until you get married. And so I remember him going to Walmart, and I tell this story often, and I was terrified about him going to Walmart. He's going to run into somebody cute and leave me. It was fear. It was false evidence appearing real, but it was my terrifying real thing that I would, I thought about. And one day he came home from Walmart 5 minutes later than he said he was going to be, traffic, whatever. And I was terrified, and I was newly, maybe a year married. And I asked him, I said, why in the world are you still with me? Because I'm a mess. I am terrified. I'm insecure. I don't trust people. I have been hurt very, very badly. I am broken. I'm not this whole woman. Yes, I'm saved. Yes, I'm in church. Yes, I know what the singles are supposed to believe, but I'm a mess. And he said, God showed me the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm willing to wait for it. And he had to love me through a ton of broken places. He had to give grace through a lot of stuff, as well as I did. And so this false thing that floats around that you're just going to be this whole terrific, perfect person is a lie. You are going to find out that you're very broken in areas that you thought you had it together in, because they might bring out something else that you didn't even know was in there. So lots of grace and love.
Sorry. That was good. To go along with that, in a new marriage, you have to remember that you're coming with a lot of baggage. You're coming with your own baggage. You're coming with your own ideals of what marriage looks like, or just things that have happened to you in life. And so when you come together in a marriage, you should be putting that all out on the table. Even if you're not, it's going to be revealed. Like, marriage is a revealer of who you are, of who that person is. And so you might not think you're selfish, but once you get with somebody that you're looking at every single day, that you're supposed to communicate with every single day, you can start to find out a lot about yourself that you did not realize. I knew that I enjoyed my own private time. I'm an introvert, so I like being to myself. But when I was by myself, it's one thing, because you're by yourself, so you don't have to worry about somebody else. But then when I came into being married, and my husband is, you know, he likes to spend time together, obviously. And I tell him he's clingy, but he likes to, you know, sometimes he wants to sit up under me, and I'm like, you know, I gotta, okay, well, I get it. That's what he wants to do. So I need to let him do that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, there are some ways that you have to be prepared to come out of, even if you don't realize it at the time before you get married. But keep an open mind and just really be open to what the other person needs. Think about their needs more than your own. Because really, if my husband wants to sit up under me for a while, I should be glad about that, right? Because he could be off doing something else. If he wants to hold my hand every time we're sitting in the car together, you know, I should be glad about these type of things, that he wants to share that type of physical touch, or that's what he needs, and that he's being open with me about what he needs. Yes. So I think you should really make sure that you are fulfilling the needs of your spouse. Because I believe that if you're doing that for them, prayerfully they're doing the same for you.
Absolutely.
Right. And we think that sometimes, like, if I do this for them or whatever, I won't get in return. But you have to really be open, put yourself really into the position and the role of being a wife or a husband or whatever, you know, whichever you are. Really give your all in that thing. Don't just hold back because you're afraid of what you won't get, or what, you know, really give all of yourself to that individual. And prayerfully, you've married somebody that will be able to do the same in turn with you.
Yeah. And I wanted to add too, really quick, the lie of 50-50. I like to dispel lies, because it's you know, some days I am at 0. Period. And he has to be the 100. He has to come over and be the whole 100. Some days he's at 0, and I have to be the support for him. And so we have this, if you get 50%, you get 50%. And some days we're both at 100, and it's great. In the overflow, we are able to help other people. You know what I mean? But there is such a lie of, you know, where is he? He better come with his 50%, and he better come with his stuff. And he some days we are people. Then we're in the middle of a pandemic. So if you're getting married, a few people have gotten married in this time. They're newlyweds. This is very different. You're getting married in a very different time than when people are out and about and able to do whatever they want to do. You know, so give each other a lot of grace. Lots of grace.
So with let's talk second marriages. Oftentimes, and this was presented to me by the amazing Miss Hudson, and that there's a piece of worthiness that comes into play. There's a piece of feeling inadequate. What would you, and I'm sure you can take this first, what would you say to someone that they should know that's in their second marriage? What should they know? What is it that you wish you knew? And what is something that would help them grow?
Well, the big thing for me was, in my troubled first marriage, I was living under unreasonable expectations of myself and of others. And I was in the church, and no discredit to my pastor or to the Bread of Life family, but there wasn't a lot for me to understand me in this natural body. You know, yes, I'm a spirit being, but you know, I walk around here with a person that I'm not getting along with. You know what I'm saying? I want to push him in the hallway. I don't want him to breathe right now. And that's just 100. His breathing bothered me. I wanted him to stop doing that. You know, I asked him nicely, and he wouldn't do it. And so, but those were real feelings. So we can talk about, you know, I prayed. Yes, I did, but I didn't know what to do after prayer. I didn't know what to do when I got off of my knees. I didn't know. And so I wish that there were more women that had been in a place that I had, that was willing to show me their scars. Yes, it was, you know, healed and covered over with scabs, but show me that. Show me how to deal with that part of me that's not so nice, the part of me that's not so good and not so time. Because again, it is the presumption that if you're in church, then you are praying, you are loving, you are kind, you are all of those fruits of the spirit. But I wasn't always that, and
Yes.
so I needed somebody to be real with me. I needed somebody to let me be a part of their mess, so that the message that we're sending is accurate, and so that people don't stay in unhealthy relationships just because they're in church, or just because they're part of a ministry, or they're a deacon or an elder or an usher. Like, that is not reasons to stay. And so that prevented me from being, I think, and getting out sooner than what I should have. And so I wish that that I knew that it was okay to be a whole mess, and that somebody could actually speak into my spirit and really not give me the decision, not make it for me, but definitely let me see the realness of what it is and what I was looking at, because divorce was not inevitable. It was the only decision for that first marriage. I just dealt with so much fear of, what will the church say? What will they think about me? What will people think about me? My mom and them stayed married, and they stayed married. So why not? Why can't I just wait until the kids get older? And there was so much. There was so much pain, and there was so many decisions that I didn't have answers to. And the only place that I found them was definitely in the face of God, but it was also in somebody just really tapping me on the shoulder and saying, look, it ain't gonna work. Snap out of it. Just be 100 with yourself. So it definitely helped me in dealing with some very dark places, and seeing some dark places of myself. It revealed, as some of the ladies said, it became a mirror for me to see who I actually really was. And I didn't like her.
You are going to help all the babies this morning, all the people, because this is what I used to say about the church mothers. Y'all stop lying. I remember being a teenager, and I was like, okay, why are you not telling the truth about this? Why are you condemning me? Why do I feel like I am such the scum of the earth walking around you? And then you get to the funeral of their husband, and every baby got a different name, so you didn't tell me the truth. And this is your third marriage, mother, and you didn't tell me the truth. And now I'm walking around here looking like I'm stupid. I feel dumb. I feel crazy because his breathing bothers me. Help the babies. Help them.
Listen. It's so real.
That's blessing my life.
Yes.
Listen. So I'm sitting over here trying to contain myself.
Girl, me too.
So much of what you said, what is my story. I think, for me, oh gosh, it went from, well, if y'all gonna be having sex, you might as well go ahead and get married. But wait, okay, well, all right. But nobody told me, all of the stuff that I didn't deal with within myself was then going to be an issue in that marriage. Nobody told me what to do or how to do when things went way left, So all the encouragement was, just pray about it. Just, stay in there, and understanding when your irritation level gets to a point, like you said, when, yeah. So I that's really amazing. And I really, really thank you for your transparency with that. But yeah, it left me in a place where, again, it really makes you look at the fact, do I really love or like myself when I continue to subject myself to a level of disrespect, disregard, and just horrible treatment? Now we're in an amazing space now in life, but I believe if someone took the chance or the opportunity to say, hey, this is how you do this, instead of the level of judgment that we got for all of the dysfunctional and just pure ignorant behavior that we continue to perpetuate, I believe that it would have been so much of a learning experience for me. I wouldn't be going into a second marriage having to process and deal with the scars and the residue from the first one.
That's
So
real good.
I really appreciate that. Leslie, I'm sorry, that thing just whoa, yeah.
You know, that was good. And you know, I can't speak to second marriage, but I can say thank you for what you shared, because it's hearing honest, raw stories from women that have had to remarry, that helped me to really take my marriage even more seriously. Like and no disrespect, but I don't want to be married again, right? And so I want to take all of the information that I get from women who have been there, like you said, like Dee Dee said, why didn't y'all tell us? Like, be real about that thing. Let us know so that we can prepare ourselves and take care of our first or current marriage the way that we need to, so that we don't end up doing this thing over and over again. A lot of people get married, I think, over and over needlessly, because they don't know these type of things from the get-go, from the jump. And something that you said, Victoria, about, like, you know, well, if y'all having sex, then y'all might as well get married. That is a terrible reason to get married. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. Just because you're having sex with somebody is a terrible reason to get married to somebody. Because what if tomorrow you can't have sex anymore? Is that really the basis and the crux of your marriage? It cannot be. Because you know what, when you get married, and not saying that you're not having sex, but sometimes sex is the least of your concerns. It's so much that goes on in marriage that you know what I mean? Like, it's very important. It's great. It's important. But there's a lot that goes on in marriage. And so sex is not going to be your biggest focal point. It can't be. It shouldn't be. You have a million other things to think about. And so if you're specifically getting married behind a physical act, how long is that thing gonna last? Because let's be real, even in the best of marriages, sometimes sex can wane and wax, right? There'll be times when you always, you know, y'all getting it. And there's other times when life comes in and you don't have the opportunity to have sex like that. Your husband could get sick tomorrow to a point where you can't have sex for, you know, health reasons. You know what I mean? I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So God forbid, if you get COVID or any type of illness and you're not able to do like things of that nature, so what? The marriage is over. So no, I so disagree with that. If anything, if you get married, if somebody has put in your head that you need to get married because of sex, repent of having premarital sex and move forward. If that's who you're supposed to be marrying, because that's who God said you're supposed to marry, then repent and do that thing right. But ain't no sex gonna keep me together. It ain't gonna keep, you know what I'm saying? Like, that can't be it.
I'm trying to remember in my mind what it was. It's better to marry than to burn. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, we gon' But
so I think we tell people to pray a lot. I just see these little mothers when Tish was talking. I see all these little mothers rushing at a baby, pray, and not that this was your case, but what I found in church over the years, over 43 years, because I've been there from day one, is we assume that people in church have a relationship with Christ and they know church, and we're telling them to go pray. And they literally don't have a relationship. They have a relationship with you. They hear your voice. They know what the pastor said. They know what Lady Bonbons, whatever the people is. I know what all of these things are, but I have no idea what the Father's voice sounds like. And now I am basing my entire life off of a voice that I really am not settled with. I know church, but I don't know Christ. And I think that is the biggest thing for those that are in church. You have to know and have a relationship with Christ, period, to make it in a healthy, godly Christian marriage. Your marriage is not Christian because y'all go to church together. Your marriage is Christian because he's the center and the circumference of every single decision that you're doing. You know that my husband has my back, I have his back, because I'm honoring God. If I don't fear him and he doesn't fear him, we're not honoring him. You're asking me to go to somebody I don't know. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm going and then I'm praying at home and I'm like, well, is this God or is this me? Father, did you say that? I don't really know what to do. I'm asking people to go get married that's having premarital sex, that's probably not praying. So how are you hearing the Father's voice to make a decision on that magnitude? I'm just going to go get married because I'm doing it. And I don't even know his voice. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But let's deal with that. Let's break it down a little bit further. How do I even pray?
Well, you know what? The thing for me is, I remember going through my first marriage, and I was having some really tough times, and I was in a place of doubt. I didn't know if I knew the voice of God. I didn't know if I knew what it sounded like, because in church they'll tell you God said, and I'm like, he's saying a whole lot. I mean, do he just
To
talk
you about me?
Did you hear me? I said, is he just talking to a few folks? Is it the first few pews? Because I need to get to church on time, because I be sitting in the back because I be trying to leave. I be trying to leave once they do.
Just the two pews, just the first two pews.
It was
He
it,
speaks to them well.
the first two pews on the right. You know what I'm saying? It was on the right. I was probably sitting on the left. And so I said, I want to hear the voice of God.
Come on.
And I remember praying to God, and I was in my kitchen, and I had an expectation. Again, there was so many expectations of church and God, and I thought it was going to be this audible voice. You know how you hear the Bible on audio? I thought it was going to sound like that, right? And so I'm in my kitchen, and I remember praying to God, saying, like, I need to hear your voice. I need your instruction, because without you, I'm going to hurt somebody. Okay. I'm going to leave out of here. I look good in orange, but I just ain't never been to jail. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a blocker.
I'm telling you the whole truth. I'm telling you the whole truth, because I would be less than a person if I would sit here and tell y'all that this is not where I was at.
Yeah.
And so I remember praying to God, and I was making breakfast, and I heard a voice to me, and it didn't sound like an audible voice. It didn't come from the clouds, but it says, that egg is going to drop. And I was like, okay. So I opened the refrigerator, and the egg was just about to drop. And so that was God saying to me in simplicity. He met me in a place that I could hear him. He met me in a place that was reasonable to me, and that he could touch me, right where I was at. And it wasn't at church, it wasn't before people, but right where I needed him. And at that very moment, he spoke to me so simply to give me instruction, like, Tisha, the egg is going to fall. And that's exactly what it was. So I think a lot of times we build God up, not in the right way. We have to make it, he's so simple, and he's so specific, and he is so strategic in everything that he does. He created me, so he knew what I needed at that moment. And I didn't need a shout, and I didn't need no oil laid on me. I just needed to hear that egg was about to drop.
That's good.
That's real good, girl.
That can preach by itself.
Listen, it preached to me in that kitchen. I made good scrambled eggs, baby.
I just wish there was some more of a level, more transparency.
Absolutely.
Less judgment. Like now, but you look at what I had to go through to get to the place that I am right now. Like how many, and I'm going to be honest, like with me, like how many people I had to hurt in the process of figuring out I have to deal with me. How many changes I had to go through within the marriage that I'm in, or even within friendships, because I believe that oftentimes the damage and the dysfunction that we don't deal with, even within, I think you said this earlier, within our marriages, it spills over to so many other things. we're constantly seeing, the stuff on social media, like be healed and do this and be healed first and then do this. But let's break it down almost to elementary. How do I heal? What does that look like? I just feel like sometimes people don't realize even the encouragement sometimes that comes from many people in the church. It's laced with so much judgment that it makes it hard for the person that's struggling to even digest that thing, because there's already shame there. There's already guilt there. Now, how do I move forward in a place that I can be better and I can be healed and be better for everybody that's around me? So this is good, you guys. This is good. Anything else?
I think one of the major things is understanding that even in our mates, they cannot fulfill every part of you.
Mhm.
There are some things that are just for God, and there are some things that are just for you. And so even as I began to go on my path and doing my work back to my worthiness, it was understanding that I couldn't place a lot of responsibility on people. I couldn't expect my best friend to be everything to me. I couldn't expect a best friend to be where I needed her, when I needed her. And so there is a lot of grace that takes place in understanding that some of the work, which will look like mania, it will look like mayhem and crazy. It will look even sometimes demonic, because you got to break that thing down. And you really have to go to the whole root of it. Because a lot of times when we look at a tree, we see the outer manifestations of the seasons changing, the leaves falling, and different things of that nature. But we have no idea of where those roots are going and where they came from. And so we often just look at the tree on the outside, but we really have to dig deep into that soil and understand that, you know what, in my first marriage, I entered with daddy issues, and my daddy was in home. My daddy and my mother were married for 35 years. So how did I have daddy issues?
Yeah.
And understanding the relationship with my mother and how I looked at her, how she was a wife, and how I mimicked some behaviors that were so wonderful. And then there were some things that were very toxic. And so when you have to get down and you have to like when you're gardening, some people use gloves, they might use tools, but the best part of it is putting your feet and your hands into that soil and really digging through. And if you're not really ready to uncover maybe some weeds or some rocks or some things that you have to pull out and take out, then it's going to take you a little bit longer to really get to that place to where you can really have the primary healthy relationship with yourself, as well as to extend that in your marriage, as well as friendship with other people.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I wanted to say too, marriage, the picture of your marriage has to be a real work behind the scenes for you. Many people work on what they look like on social media. And so for us that was raised in church, that looked like Sunday morning. So our social media is our Sunday morning now. But that is not reality. And so I had a young lady tell me, she said, "Oh, your family looks so beautiful. You guys look so perfect." She was feeling inferior. I said, "Honey, pictures on social media are edited, and I can edit the mess out of a picture. Bless you. Don't look at that picture and get insecure about your family." I said, "We have a lot of challenges and triumphs that happen simultaneously in our household and within my family unit." And so marriage is a real thing, and do not try to make your marriage look good for other people. You need to be safe in the space of your house and in your marriage. You have to work on that. And sometimes for some people, that means you can't be on social media.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, in order for me to have a good, real, true, healthy marriage, and what that looked like for us in church was, there are people that should not have been at church every single time the doors open. Their marriage was not healthy because they were on display trying to be perfect for people. And their husband was like, "They get the best of you." The wife was like, "They get the best of you. When do I get you at all?" You understand what I'm saying? But I am working on the display marriage and not the real private marriage. And you have to work on the private marriage because that's what you're going to spend the most time at, and not the display marriage, because that is not reality. You'll be divorced and switch pictures. You have to switch wedding photos because you didn't work on the real marriage at home behind the scenes.
You know, I want to speak to that. That is really good, because so many people and a lot of single women see other women, you know, the pictures of you and your spouse, and they look at the picture and they make up this whole, you know, perfect life that you have because of what they see on this edited, staged picture that you have with your wonderful caption under it and everything like that about how much you're in love, but don't even know that you two was cussing and fighting before and after that picture.
Come on.
So for the single people, don't look at these pictures, don't look at what you see on social media and think that that is reality at all, because it's not. Some of the people with the prettiest pictures and the most cultured or cultivated Instagram feeds have a miserable marriage behind the scenes. I would rather sit down with a woman who has no pictures of her husband or her spouse on her timeline and has a real and true happy marriage behind the scenes, probably because she's not faking on social media, than to buy into this false narrative that some of these people have on social media.
It's because I can edit in a waist. I can edit in a waist on social media. That don't mean you got one.
Right. Take away a chin, take away a.
You understand?
Look,
yeah. Look, I'm gonna kick my thing.
So I mean, yeah.
Yes, and I it's funny because I'll say in a minute, yeah, I don't really like him right now, and I remember saying that, and somebody was like, "Wait, you said that?" Well, what? Okay, so we gonna either be honest and be free, or we gonna keep lying and remain in bondage?
Yeah.
Because I'm not hoping the next person or the single woman sitting next to me, but everything is just amazing and we just love on each other all the time, and is but I get that there's a level of you know, there's parts of your marriage that you do have to keep, you know, close to you. But at the same time, you know, tell I just wish someone would have told me what it was going to be and how it's going to, you know, you're not going to always be on the same page. So yeah, that's good. But because social media have you believing a lot of things and the people don't even live together.
Right.
So, yeah.
The good thing about that is, in this forum, is that we need to, you know, even on my job, we create, being in leadership, I don't want to do all the work. I don't want to do all the work. So then you create what we call SMEs, and they're subject matter experts. And basically, you're duplicating yourself. You're spreading the workload. And so that's what we need to become. And again, it doesn't, say that we are without flaws or we're without challenges, but we need to be very transparent and supportive to other marriages, as well as for those singles that desire to be married, to really give them, an atta girl or girl you tripping, or, really give them the 100 and give them that love and support that they need, because it definitely is not easy, especially as we see how marriage is portrayed on social media, whether it's on TV shows. I mean, marriages are not lasting. They're not entered into with the right mindset. And so we have to give them the real deal. So we need to cultivate a different culture. And I feel like there's a level of responsibility that we have in doing that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, I see a lot of marriages, especially in church. It's a different animal. And y'all, I told you, Victoria, I say stuff. So
go ahead.
I love you so much. So if I don't get to come back on the show, amen. But sometimes church can be a different animal. And what I found in church is it is this trophy. I'm married and you're not. And so we pretend to be good at church because we have been, there's this weird thing that I gotta fear all the single women because they're gonna take my husband. So I gotta lie and act like it's good all the time. I give this false narrative because if you're single, you're a hoe, or if you're single,
Mhm.
you are trifling, or if you single, you ain't saved right yet.
Mhm.
Because marriage, I have this trophy, I have a crown now that you don't have, nanny boo boo. And
Mhm.
some of the single women are living holier than the married women, because you at home won't even go to the bedroom. Your husband ain't seeing you at all. So you're in just as much sin. Actually, you're in sin, because you won't even come together with your spouse when you can.
Mhm.
And you are making the single woman feel bad because she's not married, and she just got to be burning because she's single. That's not the truth all the time.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
not the truth all the time. And some of the people that you need to be looking sideways at is the other married people.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the times, spouses in church cheat with other spouses.
Mhm.
It's not the single people. So we have this we have to stop lying. I'm
Yes.
so sick of the lie.
Yes.
Especially as it relates to church. Some of my closest, most loyal friends in my marriage were single at the time. My best good girlfriend, Kay, was single for a long time, and I could trust her in my home. I have another friend, and I won't mention her name because she probably don't want me to, but she places such boundaries around herself because she was sold out to Jesus for real. She's still single. She's still honoring God with her body more than some of the married women that I know. And so in church, we'll have this thing like this. I gotta look good for this single woman, or less they try to roll up on my husband. And that's
Right.
just a lie. Then you are the single woman receiving the false information. You are the single woman receiving this fairy tale land that does not exist. You are the single woman like, oh, when I get married, it's gonna look like such and such at the church, because look at their marriage, when they were lying the entire time. And then you get married and you don't like his breath. And when he walked past, you want to push him and you want him to die. And Lord, if he just died, I don't have to kill him. You know,
There you
all
go.
of that stuff, because nobody was honest.
That's it.
And we got to just stop lying, because your lie is going to be exposed anyway.
Yes, it will.
You
So-
were the one with the perfect marriage, and then people are like, well, what happened to them? They was good, wasn't they?
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So
Because we
with
was
that,
lying.
which relationships and or individuals play a part in shaping your perception of marriage? You don't have to tell you answer it the way you see fit.
Well, for me, I would say that would be that of my sister. My sister has been married for 28 years. And I remember, when, sis, I ain't gonna tell your business, I ain't gonna tell nobody because it's just me and you. But, we used to do some things in order for her to see her boyfriend then. He was her boyfriend. And so I helped my sister see her boyfriend. And I'm just gonna say I would leave the back door open. Sis, don't know, ain't nobody watching this, okay? Don't worry. And so, but they were 19 as well. And you don't see a lot of 19-year-olds. And Didi, I know you said you guys were young, but you just don't see, because we're not ready. We just left our mom's house. We don't know what to do.
Right.
And they have been married for 28 years, and being able to see the progression, the growth, the ministry, the love that they share for each other was definitely a cornerstone for me, even in my bad marriage. But it definitely has helped me. She has been a real support to me, because my sister, if many of you know her, she shoots no blank shots, and she pulls no chasers. So she is going to give you the 100. She is that person that will tell me, okay, I'm gonna let you cry for 12 minutes. But now you need to boss up. Like, what are we going to do about it? And so she definitely helped me mature in my mind and in my heart to be able to deal with the complexity and of marriage, and just dealing with the different sides of myself as well as our husband. So I would say she has been her husband and herself have been a very positive influence for me to see real marriage, not fake marriage, but real whole marriage. And to see that thing last and continue to last 28 plus, it is such a blessing to see that play out before you, because it gives me hope and it really encourages me because I want to be able to say, I've been married for 20 years. I've been married for 30 years. That is the goal for me. And it's to be healthy in that and to be progressing and to be evolving. And I would say also just continue, because I listened to a prayer call and Dee Dee was talking about reintroducing yourself. So the reintroductions that take place in marriage is huge. And so to be able to see that play out has been a beautiful experience for me. So I really appreciate that, their transparency, and them, honoring marriage, and being real about it. They're real people, and I love that.
That's good.
Well, I'm not going to mention names because I need to protect the guilty. And so I've seen a lot of cray-cray over the years, and that helped shape my marriage, because I wanted to do the opposite. Did I remember them praying? Did I remember them going to God? If I didn't remember them doing that, well, then I need to go to God. I need to do this. I've seen a lot of wives use sex as intimidation and manipulation. And I did a teaching on that, broom or a blessing. A lot of women are witches in their bedroom because they're leveraging their sexual desire, urge, or whatever, as a way to manipulate and intimidate their spouses and to get what they want. And I did not want to be that person. I did not want to be, because a prostitute gets paid for their services. And I did not want to be that in my marriage. I wanted my marriage to really honor God. But I seen a lot of women in church, their conversation and how they leverage their body with their spouses was prostitution, whether they realize it or not. I'm gonna do this because I want him to do that, or he ain't getting none tonight because I'm mad at him. And so they were leveraging themselves. And I said, I don't want to do that. I don't. So what shaped mine is really seeing it done wrong a lot and over and over. And I was like, I want to go the opposite way. God, what honors you? What really, really honors you? There's a lot of scriptures that have been taken out of context over the years in our life. And I wanted to learn what was the context of what you were talking about here. What did you mean here? How do we walk out the fruit of the Spirit in this natural arena? I'm not on cloud nine. I don't live there. I live here where my hormones are out of control. How do I surrender this to to make sure that I honor you in this everyday real life, not this church life on cloud nine because I'm, speaking in tongues and I'm on the seventh heaven, the imaginary place. How do I do this at home and not look like these women? Because every time women would do different things in church, wives, and the Lord would let me know, even before I knew him well, that's not me. I do not instruct wives to do that. That's not me. So it was really seeing it done wrong, and God assuring my heart that you can have a marriage that honors me without leveraging yourself and without being a manipulator in your home, because I just did not want to do that.
That's good.
For me, I would say that actually I've seen a lot, personally, a lot more of the good examples than bad. There's of course been bad examples sprinkled throughout, but my husband and I, we were really blessed to be able to really be under the wing of our former pastor and first lady, and some couples that really surrounded them that were really honest and transparent in their marriage. And it wasn't just so much in church, but we were with them a lot outside of church. So we got to really sit with them and listen to some real truths and some real things that they went through, from being married at 19, from being married in their early 20s and what have you, and all the different things that they went through. So that was really just eye-opening for both of us, because my husband, his parents were married, but he did not have relationship with them from the time he was born until he became an adult. So he only saw his grandparents' marriage. I only saw both sets of my grandparents' marriage. And we know, with a lot of the older marriages, they're together for years, but you don't really know a lot of the ins and outs of their marriage. They're very quiet, secretive, you know how our community does. And so I saw longevity in marriage, but I didn't necessarily know a lot of the inner workings and the different things that they had to go through until I've come of age now. And now I'm finding out like, oh, that happened or this happened. And so they're now they're more transparent. But we really needed for people to really walk with us and kind of nurture us during our engagement period and our dating period to kind of steer us in the right direction. And we were really blessed in the fact that we got that. So I think that really helped us with our foundation, because we really had a good idea and basis of like what we did and didn't want to start with. And of course, we had our own challenges along the way, but that really helped us to solidify like what we will and will not stand for.
And something that Tish said, longevity does not mean, and I wanted to say it then, longevity does not mean Christ honoring. Because you could have stayed in a place where you knew your heart was not in it, you knew your heart was not right, but you could have said, I've been married 30 years and not honor God in 29 and a half of them. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times in church, we equate longevity with they must be honoring God, and they could be a smoking hot mess at home. She want to kill him every other day. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and I can think of a couple, they were married over 50 years and nothing about their marriage honored God. Not one thing.
Wow.
But they could get on the mic and say they were married over 50 years.
Right.
Right.
Let me ask you guys something. Are you supposed to create the picture perfect marriage, or is it just supposed to happen?
What is picture perfect? Because there's so many filters and edits, and we've already talked about this. Like, what is picture perfect? I think that we have to really, as Dee Dee said, create the fingerprints for our own marriage. And when you work on staying in your own lane, and really just, in photography, they have a wide lens and then they can zoom in and zoom out. You really need to have a single focal point and really zoom in on your own marriage, because you are two individuals that are not like anyone else. So we are uniquely made. And therefore, when God honors the union that he has brought together, then he's going to work on you too. And so that is what I look at. Although I have wonderful examples of things to do and not to do, I live with Todd Hudson. I am married to Todd Hudson. And so at the end of the day, the work that I do is devoted to him, and his work is to me. And so then we create what makes us happy and what makes us comfortable and what makes us grow, evolve, and flourish. And so I really can't create anything for anyone else. The only thing that I can provide is honesty and transparency, because I just believe what we got, everybody got. That's just how I feel. And so I really can't speak on picture perfect, because I think that's what gets us stuck. And that's what kind of creates this falseness and these lies, because people think that it needs to look good. And sometimes it's not good, but we're committed to the work. We're committed to the devotion and the honor that we have placed on our marriage. Those were the tools that we brought together in order to continue to create and build. And so again, I would say forego the pictures, get rid of it, get rid of that mindset.
That's good. And we were talking about this before we got on, the ideals that quickly turn into idolatry. Ideals turn into idols, and you start worshiping this thing that is not real. A good marriage, a picture perfect marriage, if you would, is one that you live in truth. Jesus said, worship me in spirit and in truth. If I am honest in my marriage, not Victoria's marriage, not, I don't need to be in Leslie's marriage. I don't need to be in Tish's marriage. If I honor the Lord and I'm honest, even if it's ugly in my marriage, and I'm honest, I am honoring God in this marriage. It may not be picture perfect to anybody, but I can rest at night because I was honest and I lived with integrity in my own home. And sometimes that means, if I know that Tish is going on a vacation somewhere, these are the things that get people hung up. Tish's vacation looks picture perfect, right?
Mhm.
And my husband may not be able to afford that vacation, or this year we just cannot go on it. And so I'm looking at her picture perfect marriage, her edited pictures from the Bahamas, and I get home and I'm not satisfied in
Wow.
my marriage, and I'm not honoring what God is able to provide through my husband. And now I am in this rut of trying to make it look like Tish's. And
Mhm.
God is like, I have something great here for you. I
Wow.
Mhm.
wanted y'all to go on a picnic in the backyard, and
Right.
not for post-worthy things. I wanted you to just enjoy your husband, but you
Mhm.
cannot enjoy him because of the idol you have now set up in your mind on what
Mhm.
Tish's marriage looks like, because they are in a season where they can go to on vacation. You understand what I'm saying? And so
Absolutely.
there's never going to be a picture perfect, but there can always be a way that you honor the Lord in your marriage, and honoring him looks better than the picture.
Absolutely.
It's good. It's good. So as we transition into, because I will, oh my goodness, as we move into the one last topic, because we're far past the time initially set out. What are some things that you want to share with those watching on how to establish friendships, cultivate friendships, and maintain the friendships?
Hmm. Well, there are different women that open different doors to me. There are different people that have a different set of access to me. Some have keys, some have, you know, they are allowed to access different portals of my life. And I really think that when you focus on being the best you, because I'm a girlfriend, I love girls, I love friends, I love women, but I don't pour from my well anymore. I pour from my overflow. So I just work on containing myself and just making sure that I'm solid, making sure that my home is grounded. And then I'm able to give, that set time or that specific time to my girlfriends to be able to network, to build and do different things. But everybody can't sit at my table. Everybody doesn't have access to me. There are a lot of people that know me, but they don't know me. So when I invite you in, it is definitely a place that's very intimate to me. It's a safe place. I'm allowing you to really get to know the core of me and all of the attributes that I bring. So I just feel like we just need to really continue to just pour from our overflow and not try to give beyond what we have in order to say that we have 50 friends or the bestest friend, but learning how to just be a friend.
Hmm. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's good. What does that even look like? Anybody else?
I really agree with that, and I think that it's not always necessary, like Tish said, to say you have 50 friends. That, I guess, that really doesn't move me, because I'd rather have a small, intimate group of people that I can trust, that I can go to and rely on, and vice versa, as opposed to being able to say I have, X amount of friends. Popularity is not really the thing that you're looking for as far as friendship when you're an adult.
Yeah,
I know that is when you're,
yeah,
in high school and everything like
yeah.
that. But as you become an adult and you grow, you find that your values change, and what's important to you, like the honesty and respect and all those type of things, is more important than just being able to say, I have a lot of friends just for the sake of having friends. And like she said, access. Not everybody, for your own spiritual and mental health, not everybody can have access to you, because sometimes the access that you give to people, they abuse and misuse, and
Mhm.
then you're left in a place where you don't even want friends. So I
Yeah.
think that you have to be really cognizant of who you are, and what you can and cannot allow. There are lots of people that are just genuine and nice people, but it's not necessary for you to be a friend to them, maybe just an acquaintance, and be
Yeah.
okay with that. You can't be all things to everybody. You
Yeah.
can't, you shouldn't even want to be, because people will drive you crazy.
Yes.
And so, and you, there's somebody who you drive crazy, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that we have to really look at what we define a friend as, and really stick to that, whatever that value is for you, and be okay with people walking away from you if you
Yeah.
can't give them what they need. In different seasons as well. Like, I'm the type of friend, and I want the type of friends where if we don't talk for a few days or weeks or even months, we can pick right back up, and it's fine that you're not upset about the fact that, girl, why you haven't talked? Girl, come on.
You got toddlers.
Right.
Do you understand? I have toddlers.
Exactly.
It's one of the
Come
most
and get some of these.
it's one of the most amazing things, because I can attest to that like I cannot talk to her like for months, and I'll text her and it's almost like I just talked to her like 2 hours ago. And that is one of the most it's a really admirable trait that I really admire about Leslie. And it's like nothing ever happened. But I think that's also a realistic expectation that many people kind of like they skip over with friendships. Like, we don't have to talk every day for us to be friends, and it doesn't mean I love you or like you any less. And I know it sounds very elementary, but sometimes like it, yeah, like I don't even. So yeah, go ahead, Dee.
I was just gonna say the same with the marriage, because friendships are a true friend. You will have intimate settings in the sense of you'll know my heart, and so I need to be able to be honest. I don't like shallow, fake stuff. I just don't like it, and so I think that to build, you said build and maintain relationships, you have to be authentic and honest, and be willing to take the risk to get hurt, because we are people, and to assume that people are not going to hurt you is not realistic, because we are made up of flesh and dust. We are dusty vapors, and we're going to hurt people, and they're going to hurt us. And so not shutting people off because they touched a nerve that you might not have dealt with, and them not shutting you off. We want them to accept our flaws, and we have to have realistic expectations to accept their flaws and their faults as well. And knowing that, like you said, I'm not going to be on 100 all the time, but can you accept me when I'm 20? And if I haven't talked to you in 3 days because I've just, I've been overwhelmed and I had a lot going on, a lot of the times we don't come into the relationships, even in friendships, communicating like, I am a friend, I'm going to be here, I love you, I'm scatterbrained. I have adult ADHD. I'm talking about Dee Dee. I have adult ADHD. I'm scatterbrained. We might be talking about a subject and I might switch it. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just have adult ADHD and I just went somewhere else. I have 5 children and 2 grandchildren, and they are always on my mind all the time. And so I might just go into another conversation that quick, and that didn't mean that I was being disrespectful to you. No, can you know my heart and not charge it to my head? Can you know my heart and not charge it to my heart? Because my heart is not to be a bad friend or to be disrespectful or any of those things, but we have to be willing to open ourselves up to dust and vapors, and that's what people are. We are dust and vapors, so we're not going to do it all right, and it's okay, and it really is okay.
Yeah, you said something that was that really it resonated with me, because it was me. You said not shutting someone off because they said something, and that struck a nerve that you needed to deal with. And I want us to, I'm sorry, but that was, and in many areas is me, because of the level of dysfunction that I believe I came from. And it's something that I continue to work through. But I mean, we say it all the time. We say you cut them off. If it feels wrong, if the energy's wrong, I'm out. We say, there are many times that we say things like that. So from you 3 ladies that are not like me in this area, what advice would you give to someone that is very quick, very swift to cut someone off when something either offends them or doesn't sit right with them? Because again, I am moving out of that space. However, there are still people, and I see it all the time, like, well, I ain't talking to them no more because she said this. Or, what advice would you give them and recognizing and identifying what the root of that issue really is?
remember, it's impossible that offenses should come. It's
Mm.
impossible. They are gonna come. They are gonna come. And I think taking the time to evaluate, are they stepping on something that I'm already insecure about?
Good.
So they didn't know. Sometimes people don't even know that's your area, that's your weakness. And they just said something because they might be like me, they have adult ADHD and just went on to another topic. And it is your thing. She didn't finish listening to my story. That I didn't, let's go back to the story. I didn't mean to do that because I literally just hopped, and that wasn't my intention, but that's you already felt overlooked maybe in a
Mhm.
friendship 3 friendships ago. And I had no idea coming into this. And now, and another thing that the guy keeps bringing this back to me, because women are catty and we have this thing that we have, we like to own our friendships in the sense of, there's
That's
another
good.
word that I want to use, control them. You can be friends with other people. That's
Yeah.
the other thing. And sometimes, you know, we get intimidated if my friend is look like they're getting close to another friend, or if God is moving, you know, relationships around and doing whatever. We have to let all of those unrealistic expectations go. And a lot of the time they expose trauma that happened in our childhood
It's
with
good.
friends. I won't let Leslie be friends with Tish, or I'll make sure she know just enough about her so she uncomfortable with her, so that I can keep her to myself. Because when I was 3, my cousins did this, and this, and they all got together and they left me on the outside. And now you're dealing with 3-year-old Dee Dee. I'm
Yeah.
43, but I have a 40-year-old issue that I have not dealt with. And now I'm trying to control my friends and my pod and keep them. I want them all my friends, but they can't be friends with each other. I see this so often with women. And in order
Yeah.
to maintain healthy friendships is let go of that. Let people be people. We don't. Harriet said it best. People shouldn't own people. And when you feel like you are, I'm doing too much, you are doing too much, because now it's a lot of effort. And God means for our lives to be led by Him. And anytime we're doing things in our own strength and we're not allowing the Holy Spirit to lead us, even in our friendships, we are now trying to control outcomes and narratives. And that's just too much work. We don't have time for that. This baby got toddlers over here. She don't have time to be controlling friendships and making
Absolutely.
sure Victoria don't talk to Tish and Tish don't know. She don't got time for that.
Yeah,
She got to potty train and cook
absolutely.
and love on her husband. And just trying to love on your husband after potty training and cooking is, praise God. I might not have time to talk to you for 2 months.
I'm
And I
tired
love
already.
you. I love you a lot.
Yes. We
Yeah.
definitely have to manage our triggers and really understand where they come from,
Yes.
because they will spill over. And a lot of times, if you have a good friend that maybe has not offended you, but exposed a truth that needs to be dealt with, then I
That's
really
good,
think that
Tish.
you need to see it that way. So when I surround myself with certain circles, then I know that what is advised to me, what is said to me, is definitely from a place that's going to help me. And I can be safe in acknowledging that and dealing with that. And so again, it's the work that we need to do. We cannot control others, and we just have to work on not so much building walls, but building healthy boundaries and understanding what that is, to even allow certain access. I think a lot of times people do not secure their guards. They're too open. And we need to make sure that, some friends I don't share certain things with. They may not know personal things about me, but we can laugh and we can have a good time. But that is our friendship. So my friendships are very distinct. They're very unique. They're very sacred to me. They mean a lot. But again, it's about access and the portals of me to which I have made available to those that I consider people that I can trust and I enjoy having a good time with. So definitely understanding how to create those healthy boundaries will definitely allow you a safe place to deal with even the offense.
Yeah.
I agree with the notion that there's levels to the friendships. You know, there's certain things that I can share with this person that I can't with another. My best friend and I have been friends for 20 years because we don't put these undue expectations on each other. It's if I see you, girl. If we talk, we talk. If we don't, we pick back up. If you need me, you know where to find me. Just, you know, those are the type of relationships that I think when you set that boundary, or you kind of, there's nothing wrong with lining out your expectations with the friend. I mean, if you're really trying to build a friendship and really create a long-lasting friendship, there's nothing wrong with sitting down and letting a person know, just like you would with your spouse. This is what I expect. This is what I can give. This is what you expect. This is what you can give. If you truly want to have a relationship that lasts, I think it's a lot of times when we don't say things, when we just bottle things up, and then here comes the offense, and I don't want to deal with you anymore because you didn't go to this person like an adult and say X, Y, and Z. I have a friend who, you know, I felt the way, and I thought
Her sound went out.
We can't hear you.
have a conversation.
Oh,
And on the flip side, I've had times where I have not done that, and then there's animosity that was unnecessary. So you really just have to come at your own feelings for a minute and just say what needs to be said.
Absolutely.
Yes, handle things like an adult. I like how you said that, because a lot of the times friends will offend us, and we'd be like, and then this is what we do to another friend. I'm the lie dispel. I can't stand it. I just let it slide. She said this, and it was a stab, and I just let, we get the neck popping, we start snatching air that don't belong to us. That's what my baby say. My baby say, Mama, why black girls snatch the air? It don't belong to them. That's what he said. We start snatching air, and we're communicating our heart to another third party, but we don't have a healthy relationship or trust that when I say you bother me, you're going to handle me right. So it's still based in fear. And whether you handle me right or not is not my responsibility. But according to the word of God, I still have to give you the opportunity to deal with it. I still should be able to take it to you. Leslie, when you said this, and this not even your fault. My daddy said this the first time I talked to him, and you said it, and it put me back on the phone with him. I'm sorry, but can you not say that? It makes me go to a place. That's easier than I'm ignoring your texts and calls and telling Victoria, Leslie, and she sound like my daddy. I ain't dealing with that.
Right.
And you don't even know what happened. You don't even know what's going on. That's not healthy.
Right.
You guys, listen.
Friendships like marriage expose us. They do.
Listen, you have no idea how much this is helping today. Oftentimes, like I'm moving to a place of really self-discovery. So why is it that I feel that way when this happens? Or why did I respond that way? And so really, and I feel like what you all have said is understanding where all of that comes from. And like Leslie said, and then again, another thing that is resonating and that sticks out in my head is maturity and growth and all of that good stuff. Also accountability. Like you do, like I said this to someone a couple months ago, like we need to start talking to people like in relationships. Listen, this is what I want. Like you said, this is what I need. This is what I don't. Because I feel like this is good. If you don't put it out there at first, something happens. Then you're being weird, and now you don't want to. It's too much. Like especially when you have so many other things that you are responsible for and have to do. So this is good. This is really good. So again, there were other things that I wanted to address with you ladies, but I know that we have things to do and responsibility. But the level of transparency has been absolutely amazing, as you can tell with the comments that are coming through. I really want to pick this discussion up again and dwell well into the family stuff, more of the relationship piece, because it's really good information. So many dysfunctions and failed relationships, marriages are happening just for a lack of knowledge, a lack of transparency, and just love and sisterhood. But for those of you that are watching, I'm going to allow are watching and contributing to the discussion. I'm going to allow the ladies to let you know how to gain access to them and their expertise and their wisdom. We'll start with you.
Was that me? Well,
Yeah.
you can look me on Facebook, Letitia Hudson. You can look me up. I am a recently certified life coach, so definitely trying to work within my purpose. It definitely was birthed out of pain. So definitely just trying to be a subject matter expert out here to help my sisters to be able to just really acknowledge and really dig deep and get into the root of things. And so definitely you're able to reach out to me on Facebook.
Miss Dee.
I am DeAndrea Heckard. I know it says Dee Heckard in the chat, but DeAndrea, my mom put an apostrophe in there. Heckard on Facebook. And then I also have, I don't know what you call the ladies lounge, a lounge, THEE, ladies lounge, the extra E, because God is extra for me. And then we just launched a church, Equip Church LV. So any one of those ways, or YouTube, whatever. IG, I have all the things. My baby's got me on Twitter and all the things. I got Snap, Insta, Face, a Chat. Instagram. I got all the things. So I'm on all the stuff. So anyway.
That's good.
Leslie.
And I am Leslie Lowry. You can find me on Facebook, Leslie Lowry, or my blog page, Without Ceasing Woman. Either way, you can contact me. My only two. I can't do all. I can't do all.
Look, I don't be doing them all the time.
I don't even know how to.
So in closing, I'm like, listen, I'm trying to fight back tears right now because this discussion, what I found is a lot of the conversations that I tend to put out there are areas and places for me that are the expertise, the input, all of that stuff is necessary. And all of you, the three of you have played a part in my life at different times, and to conceptualize all of the wisdom that I've gained from you over time. It's overwhelming, but I'm grateful. I thank God for all of you. If you're watching, please go and follow or however you want to gain an insight from these ladies, do so. You will not regret it.
I forgot the app too. You remember the app, Victoria, and I never remember the app, and I got talked to about that the other day.
Yeah.
On the app, and it's just the ladies lounge on iDevices right now, iPhones and stuff, and I'm being talked to about that too. We will be on Android soon. So
and I don't even think Leslie, you didn't mention the blog.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She said because she don't have the rest of all of that stuff. She can do all of them other platforms.
Yeah, good stuff. And I'm so excited about your future, Tish. I really am. Like, you are an amazing woman. So all those little posts that she's doing lately, y'all pay attention because they be on point.
Yes.
Ladies, I love you all. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, everybody take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless. Thank you, Tori.